Hello, good morning, and welcome to Joynews Interactive. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. On YouTube, we're on My Joy Online TV. Your comments and messages are always welcome on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're Joynews on TV. I'm Apita CBD. Thank you so much for your company. Now, infrastructure is the most frequently cited problem that Ghanaians want governments to address, and that's according to a new Afrobarometer survey. So, for the first time since 2002, infrastructure and roads top the list of citizens' priority problems, beating out unemployment. Citizens' ranking of their most important problems is fairly consistent, regardless of respondents' region, age, or urban-rural location, but the group's relative emphasis on these problems varies. Concerns about infrastructure and roads are highest in 3 of the newly created regions, Borno East, Oti, and Northeast, and lowest in the Greater Accra and Upper East. But older and rural residents place a higher premium on infrastructure and roads, while youth and urbanized prioritize unemployment, which makes sense because roads won't worry you if you don't have a job to go to. But you've been reacting to this on Facebook. Let's see what you have been saying. This one is from Matt Austin, who says, even if government repairs all the roads in Accra, people are still going to complain. People can build expensive houses, but they cannot come together to repair the roads to their house without government. Well, I mean, okay. Dear Rick says, indeed, that's true. Make come see Cape Coast, Kakum National Park Road. But we're still black and proud. Anthony Adu Achimpon says, all roads have been constructed in the Green Book. And his source is Jean-Jumani Mahama. Isaac comes in to say, so that after the circa 63 years of independence, we're still incapable of constructing modern, grown-up infrastructure, many parts of Ghana, or through bulldozed and property rebuilt from scratch, in a manner worthy of a so-called sentient country. We need underground sewer systems and no more lazily thought-out open planning. Apart from the above mentioned and a few more glitches, we're kinda okay. All right. So we're kinda okay. That's what Isaac is saying. Marcus Lawson says the change we voted for has come. Embrace it then. Mohammed says we can't construct our roads, but we can build a national cathedral. Kofi Jatatira says, so where are all the roads in the NDC Green Book? Sa na NDC. NDC edeng. Sa na NDC 40. Okay. Rashid says, bad roads, bad traffic, lack of overpass, traffic lights everywhere, trotro drivers. Okay, so that's what you're complaining about? The bad roads, the bad traffic, look of overpass, and traffic lights everywhere. Chadwick says, don't worry, sky trains are on the way. Marcus says, the economic development of Africa can be summed up in one word: transport. Do we still believe that we can't eat roads? In the Netherlands, as in 2001, churches were pulled down and restaurants built to provide jobs. 2019, we're pulling down buildings for cathedral and going to build railway in the sky. Interesting, isn't it? Yes, it is, Marcus. Very interesting. This one is from Etiya Kiram, who says they should check the Green Book of the incompetent NDC government. All our roads were fixed there, and the NPP came and destroyed everything. Watson says 2020 budget, okay, roads, 1.2 billion versus NAPCO. Teacher and trainee allowance, 1.24 billion. So we're chopping more than we're using to build roads. Okay. So that's what people are worried about, infrastructure and roads. Now, Chairman of Parliament's Education Committee, William Kwartu, is urging lecturers to trap and expose female students who try to seduce them for grades. He argues that lecturers molesting students represent just half of the narrative, adding female students also consistently offering themselves for good grades. He believes exposing both female students who harass lecturers will totally eradicate sexual harassment on university campuses.
I think that there are some students too, female students, or maybe even could also be male students, who also go around to seduce the men. I mean, the lecturers. And so the lecturers should also be on the guard and be watchful. When female students are also trying to do this thing to them, they should also find a way of tracking them or trapping them, so that it will also...
They should trap them. They should trap the student, the female student.
Yes, I know people do it too. I have lecturer friends, I know female students also try to do it too. So they can also trap them. Yes, and get them into the books, so that we want to stop that canker, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, so it should be other ways. Yes, the lecturer has done it. He's been caught. If he's not able to defend himself, he's going to be punished. The punishment, I know, will be total expulsion from the university. So the person will have lost his job. The integrity surrounding that person and the opportunity or the likelihood of that person finding another job will be very, very difficult. If the person is not industrious to probably establish some business on his own, if you're not careful, he'll go hungry for a very long time. So that is serious. You understand me? And so if you are also a lecturer doing your work well, and the students think that I'm beautiful, I don't want to learn, and she comes seducing you, you should also find a means of trapping her. So that should also be kicked out, and this thing will stop. We have to go either way.
Well, you've been reacting to that on our Facebook page. Let's see what you have been saying. All right, Joe Apia thinks, absolutely, sir. It's a great idea. We need to trap the female students. Santu Akrobia says, I'm laughing in capital letters. This man, pa, those lectures are yet to be born. All right, AKB says, I totally agree, and he's giving the MP a round of applause. King Rati Papabi says, I think for the first time in my life, I have now seen my MP speaking on issues. Okay. And Ibrahim Titus Lover says, well said, sir. Okay. Ben comes in to ask, what about the lecturers who really demanded so they can also give out grades? Amponsa Benjamin says, from Open Space Hotel, how can the lecturers avoid the female students who are already half naked and asking for grades with sex? Manuel Sly thinks it's a great suggestion. Alhaji Peterson says, expose female students who try to seduce them. This man, pa. Rita Aka thinks that it's a good one and gives the MP a round of applause. Samuel D. Documented says, yeah, some of the ladies too are demanding for the sex. Citizen Kiki says, okay, he tags Mabel and says, Mabel, come and listen to your uncle. He says I shouldn't trap you. Funny. This one's from Ajayi who says, you MP, if it be you, you go say no. Well, he's asking, if it be you, you go say no? No. No. Alright, on that note, we're going to take a quick breather. We'll be back with more. Welcome back from the breather. Now let's talk about sleep. We all love sleep. I know I do, but does sleep come easily? And what do you do when you can't sleep? I mean, We all need about 68 hours of sleep every day. That's according to the scientists. But we all know that we don't really get those hours, probably 4 hours max. Well, in the AM show yesterday on Healthy Thursday, Kojo Youngson spoke to Dr. Kwame Ofori, and he shared with us some causes, effects of sleep disorders, and how to deal with them. Now, during the conversation, he gave us some 5 pointers I think you should take note of.
It's, we call something non-REM and REM. Non-REM is non-rapid eye movement. So that one is the first 4 stages. The first stage 1 is when the client will be like, okay, you are now falling asleep. Those times, patient can be aroused or person can be aroused. You can tap him, I sleep, like no. And at that time, you can have conversation, normal conversation. When you go to stage 2, you are going a little bit deeper. The heart rate starts going down, the temperature starts going down. This time, arousing the person may not be as good, will not be better as compared to the first part. Then the stage 3 and stage 4, they are normally clumped together because they virtually have similar things. So the stage 3 and stage 4 is when you have the body repairing itself. That is when the clients are really asleep. Then the 5th stage, which is the rapid eye movement stage, that is when we have our dreams. So during the REM stage, patient's brain activity goes and the body, it's in a way paralyzed. So the muscles, patient does not move or client does not move. It's just the brain's activity that goes. Mind you, the first 4 stages, the brain activity goes down. It's the body that is very active. But during the 5th stage, now the brain is active and now the body is less active.
I see. I just realized I probably know quite a number of people who go through their entire working day in stage 1 or stage 2. But you talked about how it can be dangerous, so it's something that we really need to pay attention to. You have some information for us about how to prevent or avoid sleep disorders, am I right?
Okay, how to get a better sleep.
Right, okay.
So normally we talk about the things that are supposed to go through when you have a better sleep.
Okay.
So the first one is the bedroom is supposed to be a bedroom.
Right.
Bedroom is bedroom. You have your bed there. That's not the place you're supposed to be having TV, reading. If you don't have a sleep disorder, fine. But if you have a sleep disorder, you are not supposed to be having a TV in the bedroom because it's going to distract you. It's going to have all those problems. The second one is stay away from stimulants.
Okay.
Coffee, energy drinks. You don't take them in the second part of the day. Like maybe after 4 p.m. That's when you take your coffee. That's when you take all those things. It will disorganize your sleep. It will have you. It will give you. Should I say? It will not give you a better sleep. You'll find difficult falling asleep. It also talks about eating a heavy meal or spicy meal about 3 to 4 hours before sleep. If you do those ones, your chances of sleeping is also reduced.
Why is that? What happens to you that makes it difficult for you to sleep?
Normally, sleep is based on hormonal balances that we have. Now, if you take a heavy meal or a spicy meal at that time, now the gastrointestinal system is now going to digest all that. So now, instead of you sleeping, that's when the body starts adjusting to those ones. And also, even if you take all those meals, you might have gastroesophageal reflux, which will also make you be waking up all those times. So it will not be good to have that one. And we also talk about exercises. We said if you exercise, you'll be able to sleep well. But if you exercise about 3 hours to sleep, you may not be able to sleep well. Yes. So normally the exercise is supposed to be earlier, not when you're about sleeping. If you're about sleeping and you exercise, it decreases your you falling asleep.
I see. So those who go to the gym like at 6:30 and then in bed by 9.
Oh, I've tried it before. I sometimes work out in the evenings, and I got to know I had more energy, and I found it difficult falling asleep when I work out in the evening as compared to working out in the morning.
Okay. What else?
So, as I said, you put off lights in the room. There is melatonin. It's a chemical that's produced, which helps us in sleeping. It's produced more in a darker place, or when there's bright light, the production goes down. So during the day, melatonin is down as compared to during the night. So you are just enhancing it by putting off your light. So if you do that one too, it helps you sleep.
Helps you to sleep. Okay. All right. You've already mentioned that we shouldn't put TVs on.
Shouldn't put our TVs on.
Okay. Any other tips, or have we gone through?
I think you've just gone through almost all.
Some fantastic stuff there. I mean, do a lot of people report to the hospital with sleep disorders?
A lot of people. It's been shown that like mostly more females present with sleep disorders as compared to males.
Really?
3 to 2. The ratio is 3 to 2.
This one that you have said, they will ask us for a special women's sleeping day.
Yes.
Anyway. But I wonder why. Is it because perhaps they
it's also hormones. Yes, okay. It's also, as I said, hormonal, the sleep is hormones. Yes. And it was also shown that about 30% of patients that came were above 50. So when the age is progressing, that's when people have sleep disorders. So as compared to someone who's like about 30 years compared to someone who's about 60 years, the 60-year-old might present with a sleep disorder as compared to someone who is a little bit younger.
I hope you enjoyed those tips. Exercising is very important, and switching off your television or your phone, your iPads, so that you can get a good night's rest. Now, yesterday I had the pleasure of talking to 2 security consultants about a security training they'll be having here in Ghana. Let's take a look.
Deliver a 3-day training course, which is the technical surveillance countermeasures course that you just mentioned.
Yeah, and how did the training course come about?
So initially, it's a bit of a long story, but initially what happened was we, as a service provider in the UK, received requests to deliver a service, which was bug sweeping, which is what technical surveillance countermeasures is. We struggled to find people that were qualified to do the job, in essence, which sort of presented me with an opportunity to fill that void, so to speak, and therefore I wrote the course. First one took place in 2015, and it's been going strong ever since. Yeah.
So you're the author of the technical surveillance countermeasures. Tell us more about it.
So the book came about as a result of the course, right? So the course came about as a result of what I just said. So to fill a void, there was no training program that I could find, at least, to train people in bug sweeping. Wrote the course. But people were asking on the course, look, well, some of the feedback that we received was that there's no handouts, right? But my concern was it's very, very technical. There's a lot of data to put into these handouts. And so I did create like a handout, so to speak, but it was it was actually quite big. And therefore I just thought it's probably best to put it into a book, and therefore composed it into a book, compiled it into a book, and therefore presented another opportunity to publish it, and that's how it came about. All
right, so let me bring you into this conversation. What is the connection with Ghana? How does Ghana come into all of this?
Well, we actually, I mean, Michael has been doing most of the countries. I mean, Ghana will be the last one that he has to do with. We probably plan to do this in Ghana because of our security and surveillance in Ghana. So Michael being here is probably going to help our security surveillance as well.
Okay, but how and why is the course beneficial to the security industry in Ghana? I mean, we've had in recent times where we've had some border challenges, you know, we've had some border challenges, we've had some kidnapping challenges. So how will this help, and how is the course beneficial to security in Ghana?
Right, it's going to help Ghana because of our previous challenges that we've had based on kidnapping and all that. I mean, it's going to alert the public on how to be able to secure those kidnapping and all stuff, so that to be able to move forward about security aspect.
Okay.
So it's going to really help the public and also help the security agencies to be able to proactive on certain things on kidnapping and those robbery stuff and at the borders as well.
All right, it's the first edition. How does one join? Who's allowed to join? Is it strictly by invitation? How much does it cost?
Well, actually, it's public, but right now, at the moment, for this year, we've opened it for a corporate bodies, but from next year, it's going to be like a public to everybody to come in, and the price of the course is 3,000 Ghana cedi, but for first 10, we could do a bonus for that.
Okay, so right now it's just for national security. This
Yes.
year, the first edition is just for national
Yes,
security.
please.
All right, now, so people can't come, no invitation, nothing at all.
It's open.
It's
people
open.
can book in,
okay.
but it's going to be after we
After.
train these people.
Oh, okay. Now, what expectations? What, as a country, what should we expect from the course?
Well, it's quite difficult to sort of answer that question, but what I would prefer to do is kind of go back a couple of steps and address the issue with regards to kidnapping and things like that, because technical surveillance countermeasures is irrelevant in that regard, because kidnaps and things like that, they're pre-planned, right? So people will mount observations upon the person that they wish to kidnap or cause harm to, and one of the ways they might do that is by spying on them using illicit covert monitoring devices, and bug sweeping does that. That's what it detects.
Okay.
And that's why it's relevant to counteract any sort of hostile engagement from a third party to someone that we may be protecting. But in terms of how people benefit from the course, if they're in the security industry already, it's going to be hugely beneficial to them, because it's just an additional string to their bow, so to speak. But it's very, very relevant to the security industry because of the reasons I've just mentioned, but also because it helps protect individuals that may receive threats or are likely to receive threats from other individuals, or who may be monitored for whatever reason.
Yeah. Okay. Before I let you go, what are some of the things you'll be touching on?
Oh, it's a long syllabus, but so just to give you some insight, we talk about circuit boards, all of the technical stuff, radio frequencies and cellular signals. Non-linear junction. All of these terms are very, very technical, but at the beginning of the course we outline what they can expect from it. Things like radio frequency detection, covert camera detection, vehicle trackers, how they work, how they function, how to detect them, all that kind of stuff. So it's very, very laborious and it's very in-depth, but yeah, it's one of those you kind of have to be there to experience it.
Okay, cool. So next year the general public can join, right?
I understand.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So technical surveillance counter is a major training course by the Ubix Security Company. And joining me in studio was Alphonse, who's the founder of Ubix Security, and Michael Chandler, who's the course founder and an international security consultant. And that's it for Tech Talk. Some interesting stuff there, and before I leave, let's take our video of the day. So that's how we enjoy NewsInteractive here on the Joynews channel, on DSTV channel 41 and GoTV channel 144, on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram with Joynews on TV. You can also go to YouTube where my Joy Online TV for all those exciting stuff. Thank you so much for your company. I hope you have an awesome weekend, because I know I am. Bye.